Welcome to the Top 5 Auto Advice. The thermostat in a car controls the flow of air, coolant circulated through the engine cooling system. The thermostat ensures that your engine will start as soon as possible, reach the operating temperature. A thermostat regulates the temperature as much as possible, the flow of coolant into and out of the engine. A thermostat is made up of two phases, either shut or open, when the engine is running, and the thermostat is set to a relatively low temperature. However, when the engine starts as the temperature rises, so does the thermostat rises as the coolant rises. Opens to allow coolant to flow into the radiator to cool before returning to the inside the engine. There is a coolant chamber. This mechanism makes certain that the engine in your vehicle is performing optimally temperature and does not overheat. Problems. Because the thermostat is necessary component for the engine's health. Its proper operation must be ensured. The thermostat should be set to close and open at the appropriate time. Owing to a faulty thermostat, you may encounter engine failure, operating at the ideal temperature, and overheating, which can cause serious damage your vehicle's engine. A thermostat in a car is a simple and effective device. Easy to use device. However, if it fails, serious consequences may result. Problems. In most cases, no heat is caused by overheating. The condition in your vehicle is the result of a thermostat failure. The principle of thermostat construction and operation. This is how thermostats work. The producers inject a mixture of brass and wax ground into a copper. A pellet is a type of cup. Then a highly polished metal is slipped in. Rod is passed through a rubber boring gasket, and within the wax, a crimp ring secures the pellet. Following that, a metal skirt is welded around them. When the engine is cold, a pellet pushes the skirt against a seat, preventing the flow of coolant. The wax melts as the engine heats up, expands. The expansion pressure builds up to the point where the wax attempts to spit out metal rod, but the rod cannot move. It is connected to a bridge on the other side, the thermostat side. Eventually, the pellet will move, overcoming the pressure of the spring. As a result, the thermostat opens, allowing coolant to flow. Why thermostats break down. The entire system functions properly until the metal rod corrodes. That corroded rod damages the rubber seal, and the wax leaks out. Once that happens, the thermostat stops. Opening, coolant stops flowing, and your engine overheats. The result can be catastrophic engine failure that will cost several $1,000s. Fortunately, a thermostat failure is one of them. Of the many car problems you can self-diagnose and repair. Here are some indicators that your car thermostat is malfunctioning, is ineffective. 1. Engine that is overheating. The primary signs of a failure. The thermostat is associated with the engine. Overheating is easily detectable because the thermometer in the vehicle will most likely read unusually high. If the thermostat remains closed, the engine coolant is unable to reach the radiator and thus cannot cool down. The engine will overheat as a result of this, and you won't be able to drive any further. Less than 10 minutes before it begins. Again, overheating. An unexpected temperature increase can be dangerous as a result of the thermostat valves failing. As a result, stuck in a closed position. The coolant will be unable to flow. Overheating will cause engine damage. 2. Cold start engines. If the thermostat becomes jammed, there is continuous flow in the open position of coolant into the radiator, resulting in cold start of the engine. Overheated engines are inefficient, which results in increased fuel consumption and increased emissions, and engine parts wearing out faster. If the thermostat is left open, the temperature will most likely drop before reaching the halfway point. 3. Temperature swings or temperature swings that are unpredictable. A thermostat failure is a common cause of the entire cooling system works erratic and fluctuating. Maintaining an eye on the dashboards. The temperature gauge will enable you to determine if the needle spikes and falls. If this occurs, it is most likely due to the temperature mismatch caused by the faulty thermostat. If the needle spikes and falls, a faulty thermostat could be to blame. The thermostat gauge must be flawless. Time to make sure the engine receives the coolant is at the ideal temperature. If the timing is not correct, the engine will not start. The temperature will change, as will the temperature gauge will react. Please keep in mind that reading an additional source of fluctuation is a power outage or error in the coolant system, but you should never rule out the failure of the thermostat is removed from the equation. For heater changes or cabin temperature variations, the coolant heats up the temperature inside your vehicle. As a result, you may encounter variations in interior temperature. If the thermostat fails to function job properly in order to maintain a consistent engine temperature in a car, if you happen to notice the temperature in your cabin has suddenly drops and then resurfaces, this could be a problem. Certain sign of a failing thermostat that needs to be replaced. If both your thermometer and it is normal for the temperature inside the car to fluctuate, it is unquestionably a good time to examine the thermostat. 5. Coolant and steam leakage. Engine. One of the most important indicators of a thermostat failure or failure is coolant leakage. In general, most thermostat failures, typically, the component is stuck closed. This means that when the coolant attempts to, the thermostat must be able to reach the radiator, obstructs its path, resulting in an overflow of coolant escaping from the thermostat enclosure. When this happens, there is a noticeable coolant leak. If the thermostat is broken properly, the engine's hot coolant, the coolant chamber will find a way to function. Escape due to excessive pressure. When the coolant becomes hot and when the pressure becomes too high, the weak points and cause a coolant leak is frequently pushed out of the radiator tank. Leaks are frequently simple to repair, detectable because they are visible, frequently appear in white steam smoke. 6. Strange noises coming from the engine compartment. Sounds of gurgling, knocking, and rumbling, possibly coming from the engine, as a result of coolant boiling caused by a clogged valve or a faulty thermostat. These sounds can come from within either the radiator or the engine, or both. Similar to a knocking, boiling, or gurgling noise, these unusual noises can indicate a faulty thermostat and a great deal many other issues in addition to it. Full expansion tanks. The thermostat flap remains closed, there will be no coolant can leak into the radiator. The coolant inside begins to heat up, while the coolant is being converted to steam. Inside the radiator, nothing has changed. So, if you notice the temperature gauge rising, and the radiator tank is full, you most likely have a problem with water. In conjunction with the thermostat, a rising coolant level may also indicate that the vehicle is on the verge of overheating. Increased fuel consumption as a result of both engine overheating and engine overheating. Cooling can significantly increase exhaust emissions and harm. This is about fuel economy. Occurs as a result of the vehicle's inability in order for it to reach its operating temperature. In this instance, symptoms of a thermostat failure will almost certainly be translated increased fuel consumption as well as as a result of an unexpected increase in monthly bills for utilities. Those are the most common signs of if your thermostat has been failed. If it fails, do not simply replace it and top it off. The reservoir of coolant. A faulty thermostat could be sending you a warning of a more serious problem. Coolant with corrosion inhibitors could have also failed. As a result, flush the system and add new. Whenever you replace the coolant thermostat, and avoid attempting to save a few dollars by purchasing a low-cost thermostat. Premium thermostats are designed to withstand extreme temperatures. Corrosion. That's all we have for you in this video. If you found it useful, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel.